We got the whole gang over here. Paraswag USA came over here and they're filling up
Bearing gifts.
and bearing. What is this right here?
Mochi.
What is a mochi?
It's a Japanese snack. This is red bean, this is peanut butter, and that's black sesame.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to try that.
Since you were in Japan for a little bit, I figured you might want some
I
mochi.
think it'd be really good. So what do we got over here? We got, this is a Monster 185?
Yep.
And then,
Power to Fly RS on a Colibri trike.
yeah?
Another Power RS, Power to Fly RS. This is the Rebel 2 RS.
And what are we gonna be doing today here?
This is going to be flying,
Uh-huh.
hopefully, right? And we're going to put another one together with a new HE engine on it.
And we're working on my trike over there. And
Try to get it going.
trying to work on that and get that going. And if that doesn't work, I got a Yoda 80 that I might try to take up today. I don't know. We're gonna find out. Look at the inside of this, man. This has paramotor and paramotor paraphernalia. Ooh, a brand new HE. That's beautiful.
Pretty, pretty.
Man, got so much stuff going on in here.
Louise Milstead.
What? Say it again?
Louise Milstead
Really?
per unit. Not the trike itself, but this is, she already has her trike. She has a trike buggy Bullet, and that's what this frame is actually going on.
Beautiful. While everyone is working on the Rebel and putting that together, let's go ahead and rebuild a carburetor. This is my carburetor off the Monster 185. It's time to do a little rebuild, and it's pretty easy, and I figured if I'm going to do it, might as well show you. These screwdrivers that I have are just designed for the carburetor, so if you don't have a set of these, I will put a link in the description down below, a must-have. So the first thing I'm doing is I took out those 4 screws, and I'm checking out the insides here. The membrane should be soft, but I don't know. It looks like it needs to be. It looks like it needs to be replaced. So we're just going to take this off, and we're just going to replace this membrane. Insane in the brain, insane in the membrane. All right, so if you've never done this before, this is really super easy. You just got to make sure that everything in here stays nice and clean, and everything is nice and clean. And when we take things apart, we want to make sure that we put everything back together the way they belong. So here is the new membrane and all the new pieces. I have them all over here on a paper towel. Look how small these things can get. Let me zoom out. See, they're really tiny. So we're going to look at this and we're going to flip it over because we want to put the same one back on here. And there's a couple of them that are a little bit different. So this is the correct one. Put that there. And then we're going to get the membrane. Look how soft and flexible this is. We want to make sure that's the same one and the same size. With a little bit of our oil that we use, our 2-stroke oil, I'm just going to wet this. This is a solid gasket that goes with the membrane. Alright, so I'm putting everything together, making sure that everything is put back the exact same way. And now we're just going to screw this back in. Using those awesome screwdriver sets, we're going to look through the hole here to make sure that you can see all the way through because you don't want to accidentally screw through the membrane. And it looks good. So screw those in. Once those are screwed in, we're just going to flip this over. And now we're going to remove those 4 screws. Sometimes they are really stuck on there. We're going to clean that up just a little bit too. But these membranes, if they're used a lot, this is about 100 hours. And they get really stiff. So when your paramotor doesn't run like it used to, you lose the power and it just doesn't idle anymore, it's a pretty good idea to replace these gaskets. This rebuild doesn't take but maybe 5 or 10 minutes. As long as you make sure that you keep everything separate and you make sure everything that you're putting back on is the exact same way as you took it off. Here is that nice flexible membrane. It's a brand new one. And then the old one, stiff and definitely wore out. So until you've done this a couple times, make sure you keep the old ones next to it. So when you place the new membrane on and you got the gasket, everything lines up and everything is exactly the same way as it was before. Now we're going to replace this. So we're just going to unscrew that little screw. There's a little spring underneath there, so be careful you don't lose it. There's no replacement spring. So we're going to remove the little needle and the little needle valve. And we get a brand new one. Even the little axle here, we get a new axle, if that's what you call it. Just don't lose that spring. All right, so let's go ahead and get the new ones and put them in. So they just drop down there, right on top of that spring. Make sure you put that screw back in. Make sure it's the same screw. If it's not, it won't screw all the way in. Ask me how I know that. All right, so that's all in there. So let's go ahead and take out those two screws and take off the thing that looks like a silver Pac-Man. Once again, make sure that we can see which way everything goes. Get the new ones. And they're a little bit different for different models, so make sure you grab the correct one. So go ahead and align the new ones, the new membranes and the new gasket. It all looks good. And put the old one away someplace different. Let's look in here. Everything looks good and clean. And we need to get that little screen out right there. The kit comes with the new screen and the new C-clamps. So all you have to do is take out that screen and remove the old C-clamp, which is really easy. With any little hook, it's good. And we're going to put the new screen in, which may be difficult. And then we're going to get the new little C-clamp. Look how small these things are. When you put it on like this, just using your finger seems to push it in, and as long as it goes all the way in and catches, you're good. All right. So now we're putting in the membrane and gasket, making sure they align correctly, and put that big silver Pac-Man thing on top, and replacing the screws. We are almost done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set the new membrane in here, and we're going to slide it and fit it over that little piece there that we just put in. So we're going to put it off to the side, and we're going to slide it until it's centered. All right, let's put the gasket on, put the top on, and screw it all down. That right there is pretty much how to rebuild a carburetor. Special thanks to Mark and Amy George from Paramotor USA coming over here and brought some hot dogs and some other fun stuff. We enjoyed that. Met up with Mike, had a great time. My yard looked like a Paramotor USA parking lot. It was really awesome. So thanks again, and totally appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Lots of fun things coming up in the future. And thank you, Amy, for bringing the mochis over. I ate most of them. Very good. And we'll catch y'all next time.